Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the semifinals, game one between Osse101 and Zelgadissan. I'm Mercer. I'm joined today in the booth by Tracy M. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Looking forward to a really good race. We were talking about this earlier. I think both these guys are a little underrated. Very good players, and I think they're going to show what they can do here. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Osse obviously probably better known for the combo randomizer with Super Metroid, but very good at Link to the Past. Zelgadis doesn't have any tournament wins that I know of, but seems to be in the top 8 in every tournament that he enters.
And not even picking up the chest in Link's house, because this is spoiler. We know it's nothing we want. So. Or they know it's nothing they want.
Yeah, there's a big gap between what they need and what I would need to finish the seed, which is why they're running and I'm talking.
Yep, same. Going straight for the dam. Let's see what's in here. Yep, that's important. Getting that glove early.
And looks like we don't want whatever's on the flooded spot.
Oh, nice. Bush crab with bombs. We're just going to collect some bombs and save and quit.
Yeah, the full 4 drops too. Very nice.
So head towards Eastern. And as you can see, we've already, our tracker has already marked the pendants and crystals, because that's part of what you get in the spoiler log.
You will never see a map check in a spoiler log race unless somebody hits the wrong button. With those free bombs, we can go steal this old guy's stuff.
And get a lamp and a flute.
And the Cane of Burn is also there. Zelgadis did not bother picking it up. Not worth the 2 seconds.
Yeah, the Cane of Burn is a nice safety. These runners probably aren't going to need it unless they're doing Spike Cave at some point. It's one of those things that, you know, if you're in an emergency and blinds fight, nice to pull that cane out. But, you know, these runners, they won't need it for that.
And we are seeing, like, exact ordering to start with from both runners. That's actually somewhat uncommon with spoiler. A lot of times you get, like, little divergences where the opening happens in a slightly different order. But step for step so far, other than just not picking up the Cane of Burna.
Okay,
is this dark cross? Or not that dark right now.
Yeah, they got the lamp, they got a key, and they both picked up the boomerang and the powder there. May or may not need that powder. It's a nice safety. It's actually one of my favorite safeties, but typically not needed here unless you actually have to go to the magic bat.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not even needed for that, but I do think it's probably just behind the 2 male upgrades is the best upgrade in the game for spoiler tournament.
For spoiler, yeah, I definitely agree there. Oh, and mitts. Oh, there you go.
Some kind of nice early sphere locations here.
Yeah, and kind of nice they had that boomerang, because not a whole lot of offensive weapons. It's nice to be able to stun the rat that you need to get the key from, so you can bomb them much easier.
We saw Osse do that. Burn all those bombs that you got. You're going to need those to get to some of the other checks.
Yep. Looks like we're finally headed over towards Kakariko. This might be a dark... Well, wait, we still need a Moon Pearl. So I'm going to guess Moon Pearl is probably somewhere around here.
Yeah, or it could just be somewhere they need the flute to get to. Like,
that's a good point.
I guess they don't need the flute to get to Death Mountain, but it's quicker.
Oh, for sure. Zelda picking up a bottle and some extra bombs. Osse activating that flute, so we finally get a little bit of a minor divergence here. Now let's see what Sick Kid has, because Zelga's going right to it. Ah, a cape.
Okay. That
So-
could mean we do need to do Spike
Yeah,
Cave.
it's Zelda
but-
choosing to pick up the cape, Osse choosing to pick up the Cane of Berna. Yeah, either one will work.
Yeah, although the cape was definitely a longer trip and is actually slightly worse if that's the only thing you need it for, because the magic requirement is much higher.
Yep. And there's something at the race game. Not going to ever see a blind check of the not going to ever see a pre-check of the race game here. Hook shot, pretty important. I mean, yeah, this could have been. I mean, Swamp Palace isn't needed necessarily, so it's possible the hook shot's only needed for Moldorm 2. But if it's in that easy a location, you're not gonna skip it. You're gonna get it and not worry about hovering. Or in Osse's case, doing the Moldorm bounce, since he's gotten rather famous for doing that trick.
Oh dear, an Osse is
no!
using double speed heartbeats.
Oh.
Probably just to force us to root for him not to get hit.
And Zelda going back into Kakariko, so maybe...
needs
Oh,
to
he's got it.
activate the
Yeah, he didn't
flute.
activate his flute, so that may have just been an oversight on his part.
I think
not
it
remember doing
was. He actually did speak up in chat, which is something that Spoiler lets the runners do since they know where everything is.
There he
And
is.
it's
Yeah.
And
Thank you. Yeah,
thank you,
Hard
Osse.
Pots.
Apparently only went in there to make it stop. You chose that fate.
There's our Moon Pearl. So yeah, they didn't necessarily need the flute to get there, but you know, it is faster, as you said, and picked up a whole bunch of money. So there might be might have to buy something at some point, or it could just be to get into pod. You do need money for that.
And we are going to go ahead and see Dark Death Mountain.
So either something in Super Bunny, something in Hookshot Cave. So also picking up that big 300. At this point, it still just could be that pod money that they'll need to get in there. It is a crystal, so they will need to spend at least some money. So far, we've seen no heart containers. I think we just saw a piece of heart picked up by Osse. I'm not sure that was on purpose. One of the things you can do in a spoiler log situation with heart pieces is if you time it. Oh, there's our hammer. Oh, that's kind of a not nice spot if you're not doing spoiler log for the hammer. But one of the things you can do with spoiler log is time that fourth heart piece at a critical point where you might need a refill. So if you get 3 and then save that fourth one for a nice spot. That's all we're doing on Death Mountain for now.
Oh, you did mention this earlier. I see heading towards Magic Bat.
What does the bat have for us today? A mirror. Okay, so hard required hammer for that. And mirror might be required for, well, I was going to say for desert, but desert is also a pendant, so not exactly required. So let's see what the mirror is required for. Osse is heading over to the mire area. Doesn't have a medallion yet, so it doesn't have that Quake medallion that we know we need. I think he was just trying to avoid the Murderodactyl there, but it kind of looked like he was peeking the medallion requirement there. Zelda, meanwhile, goes into Hype Cave, picks up a sword and a heart container, so...
Yeah, Osse also doesn't have the Cane of Samaria, even if the medallion was in hand, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Unless hiding in there, of course.
Yeah, I'd say unless it's there, you're not going to be able to get very far. Although it is entirely possible you could have, we've seen seeds where you have to double dip mire. It always sucks when that happens, but, randomizer being randomizer. And flippers. Makes me wonder if there's anything in Swamp Palace, because flippers typically not hard required just for ice.
Yeah, and did just go get that mirror as well, so getting the whole swamp kit.
Yep.
Also, Goddess heading up towards Catfish.
Ooh. We've already seen some nasty locations in a non-spoiler situation for things.
I mean, they're not that much fun in spoiler, especially walking the slow way.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's our second sword at Catfish. Oh boy. That's a really bad second sword location. Makes me wonder where the other swords are. Osse picking up his first sword. Also picks up an extra piece of heart, so I think he's got a plan for those heart pieces.
Yep, and Zelgada's probably heading over to Bat to grab that mirror as well.
And we are going to see some swamp. Swamp not particularly fun with just fighter sword, no boots.
Depends on if we're just dipping in here for an item and it's not an Argus required, fighter sword's not that bad. If we have to do Argus, fighter sword is kind of awful.
Divergence here. Zelda looks like he's going into the Dark World, going to Village of Outcasts. Perhaps going to go ahead and do Thieves Town now. Thieves Town, one of those dungeons. It's fairly quick. He's head towards Skull Woods without a fire rod, so maybe it's in there.
Yeah, or there could just be something in the front. Like it's not really a double dip to do the front for an item anyway. It's kind of overworldy.
I like that, overworldy. I've often argued against the idea that Skullwoods is just another overworld check because of the keys and compasses and other dungeon items inside. But it is fairly quick to do some of the front checks. And that's a bow.
There's the bow. Yeah, and it's mostly in a spoiler log context that I'd argue that it kind of is, because this front section is so separated from the back that
absolutely.
Coming back to do the back is not that big a deal.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially if he's just going to mirror and flute out.
Osse head towards the back of Swamp, so whatever he wants is in the back. Like you say, hopefully not all the way at Argus. No cane, so not going to do Diver Down. He could do it with bombs, but in this situation, he's only got 3 bombs. He probably wants to conserve them a little bit. So you're not going to be opening all... in a normal situation, in normal randomizer, bombs are very rarely an issue by this time, because they're just all over the place. But here, you're not picking up all those extra bombs in those chests, so I often argue that in a spoiler context, knowing what's under pots, NMG runners that know their pots have a bit of an advantage.
Yeah, and in this case, it looks like, okay, so there's Bombos, which is not either of our medallions to get into Mire or Turtle Rock,
Ooh,
but
yep.
that probably means it's our entrance into ice.
Probably. And Zelda picking up the flippers as well, so I think that Bombos may be hard required for Ice Palace.
But yeah, I think with it in that waterfall room and no boots, a diver down might not even save time. I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, I know that this time save is not that significant if you're talking like, and of course it's not approved for NMG, but it's only a few seconds time save versus doing it normal, because you're not going back to those other chests. Looks like Ossie's gonna go pick up his bow. So just a little bit of switch for the runners.
Yeah, we'll be able to tell kind of who's in the lead once they converge again. Though I don't know, it may be the case that that's actually eventually going to be Zelgadis's third sword, and Ossie never goes to Catfish.
Possible, yeah.
Although in that case, historically in spoiler context, having a third sword versus not having, versus being a master sword is usually game deciding in favor of whoever has tempered.
Yeah, I guess it comes down just how far out of the way that extra sword is. Especially towards the end. I mean, it could be that there's a sword on path in Ganon's tower that Ossie will plan on getting, and Zelda's just going to have the advantage earlier bosses. Looks like we're headed towards Pod on Ossie's side, though. And he can do Pod Eastern all at the same time here. So, probably going to do Pod first, mirror into Eastern.
Yeah, depending on what's in Pod, this could actually be a setup for one of Spoiler's more deceptively dangerous bosses. A lot of races have been lost in this tournament to Helmasaur.
Helmasaur, yeah, because usually you have a lot of nice items by the time you get to Helmasaur. Here, you got a pretty low percent amount of items here. Now, Ossie does do the all dungeons category. In all dungeons, you go and do this with a fighter sword and like 5 hearts. so he should be okay. I expect Zelda will be fine too, but it's definitely a much more difficult fight than is usually thought of, just because we're so used to going in there with lots of good stuff.
Yeah, in particular, he's kind of got a combo, I tend to call it, that he can do where he knocks you back with a hit moving forward and then hits you with the tail for a total of 4 hearts of damage on green mail. And there's been a lot of deaths of that. We do see Zelgadis doing the bomb diver down. Did have more bombs. Gets it pretty quickly there.
Yeah, I believe Ossie had 3 when he got to that, and Zelda still has 7, so it means he had 8 going into that. So that makes a lot of sense that he had the extra bombs to do it. And of course, Pod, a very interesting dungeon spoiler log. You got to make sure you get enough keys to do all the things that you need to do. There's 6 chest keys in Pod. 4 of them will be, at least 4 of them will be in the front. 6. Looks like Zelda was thinking about Ice Palace and maybe was forgetting a stop on his route to go through Pod and Eastern. I'm guessing the big key is vanilla, because otherwise you're probably not going here.
Yeah, either that or some key item.
Or it's KSMR, or it's a very important item, and that is a very important item.
Yeah, that would also, you don't have to have it for ice, but you have to have it for ice, right?
Yeah.
That's why Zelgada's ditched down that ice plan.
Yeah, I mean it's a situation where with icebreaker being a thing now, if it's convenient to get that cane before you go to Ice Palace, you want to have it.
And by convenient, we mostly mean possible.
Mostly. See, what else do we need? Probably still need to get the big key.
Yeah, also we're going to need one more small key.
Assuming there's nothing else here to pick up, he's got to pick up one more small key to get to the back. Yep, looks like that's it. And he's off to Helmasaur. And of course, Canismar, a nice luxury item in terms of using it in pod. It's nice to use to activate that switch, and nice to use to activate this switch here. So this is pretty interesting where we're at right now, because Osse's got about the lead of not having gone to Catfish. Maybe a little bit less than that. Zelda having that Master Sword, picking up in that awful location. So to answer the question, chat, the swords we've seen so far, one was in Hype Cave and the other one was on Catfish. Osse's only picked up the Hype Cave sword. Looks like Zelda picking up an extra heart container. Pretty convenient one at that.
Yeah, even with that one, still one heart behind Osse, but big difference between 5 and 6 at certain parts of the game. 7 is usually the number you hear runners talk about wanting to get to in a spoiler log. And here's Osse's Helmasaur fight. Does come in at full health at least.
Yeah, the first part of the fight doesn't really change much. It's the second part that gets a little scary. If see if he pulls out the bow, or if you could use hammer here. You use sword spins. Looks like he's going for hammer strats.
That's nicely done. Helmasaur did also cooperate some with standing there, but even so, that hammer hitbox is not easy.
And a 10 bomb drop for his trouble.
I was about to say, a unique item.
It is a unique item. And we'll see the mirror to Eastern here. My guess is we're not going to see much in here. Get that big key and go.
Yeah, the big key's vanilla, you still get to see basically the entire dungeon. But
pretty close
right,
too.
So probably over here, unless there's actually a useful item somewhere in here.
Meanwhile, Zelda into his Helmasaur fight.
Down to one. Okay, gonna burn a potion.
Yeah, I mean, he got that bottle mainly for sick kids, so this is you want to use it here. You don't want to waste that, or don't want to. Still down to 2. Okay, switching to bow. I think that's a good call on his part. Oh, switching to cape. Okay, that works too.
That works. It's probably not a fight he's going to look back on with happiness, but it gets the job done, and it's a lot better than walking back.
Yeah, he may not be happy about that fight, but he'd be much less happy if he had died, so... Do what you need to do in these sometimes. Also pointing out one of the nice things about the cape, he picked up the cape while Osse picked up the Cane of Burna. One nice thing about having the cape is that you do get a lot less lag when you use it.
Yeah, you can also do spins, which you cannot do with the Cane of Burna.
Also important. Yeah, and I will point out, so chat's talking about him not wanting to use the bow to use up arrows. That's not really an issue. I mean, Eastern Palace has so many arrow pots. When you play the game the first time, it's almost like it's saying, hey, look, use arrows on Armos Knights, because they're everywhere.
Yeah, including 20 in the room right before the Knights.
Yep. With enemies that drop arrows.
Really, the reason to maybe not use arrows on Helmasaur is because Helmasaur has that unfortunate habit of moving.
Yep. It is 8 shots, so if it's nice if you can get him in a nice position and just shoot 8 arrows, but that doesn't always work out. And he was down to 1-hit KO at that point, so
yeah,
probably a good call to just switch to the cape and just I mean, you're gonna get a magic refill anyway, so. Yep, as expected, Osse only picking up the big key here.
He went to the vanilla big key location. I was looking away. I'm not.
Yeah, I was looking away. I missed it.
Oh, it looks like it was Quake.
Okay. Yeah, that's required. So it looks like Zelda's headed that direction as well, so.
But we do end up seeing pretty much all of Eastern.
Pretty much. Okay, and looks like now we're going over to Ice Palace.
We'll see what's in Ice itself, but this is a not trivial cold stare that Osse is signing up for right now.
Yeah, fighters. He's only on Fighter Sword. No Fire Rod. Like the bombos will get you to the second part of Cold Stare without any problem, and uses less magic, which is nice. But not having that Fire Rod for a backup, I have an inkling that the Fire Rod's going to show up here, because why else would you go out of your way to get that bombos where it was?
Yeah, and this isn't a 5/6 crystal, so it can't be like locked behind. It could be on Cold Stare, in which case you wouldn't have it for Cold Stare.
Yep.
But you have to think it's somewhere in here.
I mean, it could be like a mushroom or a shovel situation. Osse is going to go ahead and hit the switch ahead of time. When I often talk about this when I do this, the Icebreaker, one of the key decisions is, do you hit that switch? It really kind of depends on whether you're going to do Iced Tea, I think. But Osse chooses to hit it so that he doesn't have to worry about that. The pegs will be what he's used to from the bomb jump standpoint.
Yeah, I'm just going to pretend that I'm going to flavor-wise represent that as Homer stepped up onto the block to climb over the wall and not anything silly involving phasing.
Who does pick up the big key, so something in the big chest, I assume. Because that's because he did hit the switch, which would allow him to skip the big key if he wanted to, in order to get to the back, or to get to the bottom. Ah, there's our fire rod. Okay.
Okay, so we'll have that if he wants to break the shell with Bombos. Can leave with like 5 shots left after that, I believe.
Something like that. He's gonna get a little bit of a magic refill right here. And after that, he'll either have to use fighter sword spins or the hammer.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be the hammer, but we'll see. It's some pretty nice splash damage, and one eye down before magic runs out, but uses one spin and then switches over to the hammer. There's some nice vertical hammer hitbox use. The sword does extend it, that's why you see it a lot on Helmasaur in Phase 1. That was nicely done.
Yep, very good cold stare fight from Osse, especially being only on that fighter sword. Now let's see what Osse is going to do next.
Zelgadis does one of the funnier looking clips in the game with that stair spin clip.
Okay, I think we're going to get the Thieves Town Skull Woods play here. Looks like Skull Woods is going to come first, which tells me there's nothing in Thieves Town that's going to make this any easier. There might be something important there, and we're still looking for. Still need to find Ether, and we still need to find an Ice Rod. Neither one of those would help you in Skull Woods, though.
Yeah, Osse will have to get Master Sword at some point. Ganon can't be damaged by that thing he's holding now.
Yep.
But we do know where at least one of those is.
We're going to have a little bit easier time, although Master Sword Cold Stare is not trivial by any means.
No, and he's going to be out of magic with all of the puffs up, although 2 of them go down pretty quick after.
He did buy a boo potion before coming here. Could have used it, didn't need it.
Yeah, it'd probably be nice to have that later, just in case.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's going to have to gain some time somewhere. This isn't going to be an easy version of this fight either. Osse is incredible with this vertical hammer hitbox. That is very difficult to use. It's much easier sideways like he's doing now.
Yeah, that was an incredible fight. Just using the hammer. Oh, there's your sword.
Okay. So that's going to be tempered for Zelgadis, but that does mean Osse may never get that catfish sword. It's possible the last sword is somewhere along the path as well.
Yeah, Zelga might have wanted that earlier Master Sword just to make this fight be easier for him. It makes the Cold Stare fight easier. And figures that I can skip the later sword. Osse may be planning on getting a later sword. And it's a little out of the way, but maybe not quite as far out of the way as Catfish. So we'll be interested to see what happens. Interesting that Osse did not go over to Thieves Town after. Looks like he's not sure where he's going right now.
Skullwoods was our remaining 5/6 crystal.
Okay. So we could be doing a pyramid fairy check. Meanwhile, Zelga into the moth fight. Also switching to hammer. That's only one heart. Okay, gonna switch to cape for a little bit. Oh, that's a shame. That cape just didn't last long enough for him. Gave out right when he was going into those spikes.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It does have that blue potion still to get a refill. There's also some pots along here, but just going to pop the blue potion, it looks like. And Pyramid Fairy has our shield. That's the item Osse clearly went there for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also the boots.
Oh, and going into Hyrule Castles, there's something here as well. So it makes sense to do the Pyramid Fairy into Hyrule Castle. The boots, I don't know the big key location in GT. Boots most likely not required. Zelga going into round 2 with Mothula.
And still using the hammer rather than that sword. Gets it there, though.
Gets his tempered sword.
Meanwhile, Osse is ready to start the game and is doing the front of the escape.
Yep. Has to go all the way down to Zelda's cell. And that's our ether. So the only thing left that he needs is that ice rod. And thankfully, since this is spoiler log, we will not have an ice rod hunt.
Oh, bonks. So that's in a custom, 10 seconds or something. Might be going to get that tempered sword now. I don't know what else Osse could be doing in this area.
Yeah, and he might be thinking that he's got a bit of a lead here, and therefore it makes sense for him to go get that tempered sword. If you were a little bit behind, then maybe he skips it. Although, could potentially put him more behind if that was his decision.
It may also just have been his route from the beginning to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. This is faster. Yeah, it's definitely faster the way he's doing it.
Faster. And the only cost is you get to do fighter sword versions of, Gold Star and Mothula.
Which he showed he can do just fine. Oh, misses the toss into the circle, though. So we're now even up on swords. We get a better idea of the lead that Osse has now.
Yeah, it's basically this trip through the front of escape. Although, obviously, some of that is the Mothula death.
Okay, I guess Thieves Town is next on the agenda. So not often you get a seed with all 3 medallions required, but we did see that here. Okay. As we use the bombos for ice, and we're going to be using the other 2 medallions for Mire and Turtle Rock. But now, let's check out Thieves Town. Thieves Town is always kind of an odd dungeon to watch the spoiler, because it's terrible go mode dungeon in general, because everything is basically on path, except for the beginning chest, where you now don't have to go through all of them. Just go get that big key, and if there's another item, find it.
Yep, and big key is in its vanilla location.
Which, by the way, the big key vanilla locations are usually the worst spots in the dungeons for them. So.
Yeah, though it's a very mild difference in the case of Thieves Town.
Yeah, absolutely. So now Zelda has his ether, so he'll be able to open up Turtle Rock when the time comes. And Zelda also going to go into Thieves Town. At this point, it really doesn't matter, I don't think, unless there's something super useful in Thieves Town. It doesn't really matter whether you do Thieves first or Mire first. Obviously, you want to do Turtle Rock last to go into GT from there.
Half magic's pretty useful, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that might sway me to do Thieves Town before Mire. That half magic is really nice. See if Osse even picks anything else up. Probably not. Like, the only thing I could see, like, especially in the big chest, the only thing I could see him picking up there is if it were Ice Rod, for sure he'd pick it up. And maybe Silver Arrows.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like Blind Cell and it's the male, probably grab that.
Yeah, anything useful in Blind Cell I think is worth picking up. It's just a few, like a second for the item fanfare, but going over to the big chest, that's a lot more out of the way. A little accidental sword spin there on the first phase of the fight. Not quite on script anymore.
We will get to see a little bit of dodging here. Unsurprisingly, does very well at it.
Not a problem. He had the blue cane anyway. He could have gone to that if he absolutely needed to. But he's still at 3.5 hearts. It wasn't going to be a problem. Something else we need here. So maybe Ice Rod is in this area?
Yeah, though it can't be bumper, and pulls out the mirror, so maybe Graveyard Ledge or something. If it was on bumpers, then Osse's made a huge mistake somewhere along the way.
Yeah, picking that cane over that cape would be a definite mistake if... Oh, so the boots were hard required. That's a strange way to have hard required boots to get the Ice Rod in Bonk Rocks.
Yeah.
Osse's got everything he needs, so we're in what I like to say is no mode for the chat.
We do get does remember to kill it. There's a fun little bit here with the bird where Quake doesn't actually stop the bird from just murdering you with the cutscene.
Yeah, and especially only on green mail. Very important. We have Zelda finishing up his blind fight. We'll have to go pick up his ice rod. Can't imagine there's a better time to do it, so we'll probably do it right now.
Yeah, he's gonna probably need Osse to make a, at least mid-sized slip-up somewhere along the way at this point, just to make up for that moth death. But Osse not giving him any room so far.
So no doubt beelining straight for the big key. That's all he needs here.
Well, compass chest isn't too bad.
No, not really. That's a good one. Obviously not the god mire that you want, but if you're going to have it not there, then this is a good place for have it, because you just walk straight to the back right the way he's going. And also going to head over to Vidi here. Probably going to do a typical, your normal NMG, doing a little spooky action to save a little time with these crystal switches.
We'll see this. Oh no, gonna go with the dash with the cane.
Good way to soften the eyeballs up. It's another place where having that tempered sword is going to be more useful than having a master sword. Okay, nicely done to get through the first part. Now I'm going to switch to the bow.
And just about time for that mountain climb up to Turtle Rock, and then Cannon's Tower.
And of course, Turtle Rock, another one of those dungeons that doesn't benefit much from being a go mode, so-called go mode dungeon. We'll see if there's anything in there for him to pick up. Again, the only thing I can see picking up is silvers at this point, and only if they're fairly on path.
Yeah, probably the biggest advantage of go mode in Turtle Rock, or spoiler in Turtle Rock rather, is you can sometimes cut out one of the front two places, either the, I forget what it is, the compass chest or the fire rod locked side. Although it's very rare to get a layout that lets you skip the right side.
Like Zelda, setting up to use the cape if he needs it, but starting with NMG strats. Shows off the use of the spins with the cape. And so I'm also going to head over towards Turtle Rock and Death Mountain. And we are not skipping that first location. It does have a small key. You do need to pick up at least 3 small keys. You can steal the one from the pokey and avoid the big key chest, unless, of course, the big key is there. The other nice thing to note with the spoiler log, though, you might be able to, you don't have to worry about. So when you steal that small key from the pokey, there is that small percent chance, about a 4 or 5% chance that you could be screwed based on if a small key is in the lava chest. And there's our silvers. So so the right side not required whatsoever. That's really interesting.
Silver plus the heart container is a lot to draw you there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the fact that you could so yeah, it was same with the keys. You don't have to worry about that small percent chance that you get screwed by stealing the pokey key. Because you'll know if the key layout is such that you can't skip both big chest and lava chest. We'll see if Zelda chooses to pick those up. He'll be able to gain back some time, but he'll lose time then in the Ganon fight. I mean, it's not a huge amount of time, but it is not insignificant.
Yeah, tempered. It's the time for the 4 shots versus the spins. Also, a little bit of time going up the gauntlet with the mimics or whatever, but looks like he's going to be skipping it.
Yep.
I mean, he's behind, so the only way to catch back up is to take some chances.
Absolutely. And we do have the vanilla big key. But again, another point for the spoiler log. They know whether there's a small key in the big chest. If there is not a small key in the big chest, we'll see them skip that.
Yeah, doing that if you had to go to the lava chest in a normal rando seed is risky.
Extremely risky. Because basically 50-50, there's going to be one in the big chest and one in this next crystal roller room.
I was putting the powder to use. A little bit of trouble getting the pokey dead there.
Yeah, I really like the powder. Like, if there's any room I want to have powder in, it's that one. Those anti-fairies, not only are they a pain to avoid, there's actually, I've noticed quite a bit of lag if you can't kill them and they get back on screen. So it's really nice to be able to use the powder, if nothing else, to get rid of the lag. And we do have to get 1 small key on Laser Bridge. Assi gets it with the laser skip, no trouble.
Makes it, much like a lot of other incredible stuff he's done this seed, look easy. That one's, a lot of people are able to do that, but, a lot of people also take damage doing it. Gonna be into Trinex as Zelgadissan is heading into the dark room. Going for the back strats. I said not cooperating fully there.
Very nice finish, getting that double spin. All right, Assi heading into Ganon's tower. Or will be in just a second. So, of course, in Spoiler Log, we don't do a big key guessing game in terms of numbers, but go ahead if you want to put in chat where you think the big key is going to be in terms of location, because we're not going to be checking a whole lot on the way. Zelda also making quick work of Trinex, and we'll be right behind. So going to the left.
Small key on the torch.
Oh, that's also makes it a logically required boots. Even though, you know, you could always get around that small key if necessary.
True, although they were already needed for the ice rod.
Yep,
right?
absolutely. And we get to skip the Stalfos room, which is nice.
It's a nice boomerang use there.
Picks up an extra heart container.
And heading towards a rando room wouldn't take this teleporter if it wasn't.
Those should be our. I suspect this will be our big key location. And there it is. Already has one small key, so you can go up and you'll pick up the Helmasaur, the mini Helma key when the time comes. And this room right here with the mimics is going to be a little bit quicker for him, having those silver arrows. So I'll go picking up his big key and we'll start heading up GT.
It's a nice 10 arrow drop there. It was down to 2 of them.
So if any of you are wondering where that last sword was, just looked it up because we're not getting it. Swamp Pal's big chest with that big key in the vanilla location. So we're going to be stuck on Tempered Sword here. Definitely not going out of our way to get that sword unless it's your master sword, I think.
I mean, they were in swamp. I wonder if there's any chance that was faster than walking without boots to catfish. Probably not, or Zelgadis would have done it.
Yeah, I can't see that being faster.
Nice fairy drop there for Zelgadis. Gets to avoid powdering that bunny beam.
Yeah, the nice thing about the powder being required is they get those opportunities, and Osse will be able to powder the anti-fairy in the next room and get a nice free refill. Nice use of those hookshot iframes from Osse to not get knocked over there.
And on towards Aga 2.
Nice opener triple.
Oh, this might be a double triple. Looks like a position.
Oh, yep. You don't see that very often. That was beautiful. I mean, half the time you don't even have the opportunity to get that double triple because you'll get a blue ball on the second Aga 2.
Now let's see what Ganon has to say for himself. That doesn't seem like a very good defense. Using dash pokes here.
Osse doing a very good job getting that 1-in-1.
Yeah, using that hit to dodge a fire bat in there. And he's going to be into phase 4 here.
Gets the early silver shot, which is always nice. And even gets torch glitch. Not that you need it here. Looks like this will be a triple. Yeah, that was a... Oh, not quite. Still a really nice Ganon fight.
Just beautiful bosses all the way through.
Osse finishing up with an SRL time of 1:17:56. Take out the 15 minutes for the spoiler time. It's a 1:02:56. Very nicely done. Zelda not that far behind.
Yeah, this is going to be a longer fight because of phase 4 needing the silverless hits, but still shouldn't be too bad.
A little more important that Zelda gets a torch glitch here. Never any fun to deal with this without the torch glitch. Doable, but...
Yeah, it does have half magic as well, which helps a lot with that.
Absolutely. Gonna go for the extra hit here.
Oh, that was nice.
This will be 12 spins. So far, doing a really nice job of getting those spins, getting a triple in the first shot.
One more hit, I believe. All
there
triples.
It is. Very nice fight. And Zelda finishing up with an official also time of 1:19.42. Take out the spoiler time. It's a 1:04.42. Definitely not a fast seed. The runner's going all over the place to get some of the early items, and then those late boots.
Yeah, I believe one of the runners said in a pregame chat while looking at this seed that it was an anti-fun seed.
Yeah, I believe that was
Not
Osse
sure.
that said that.
Not sure what particular aspect, although the boots would be my first
Well, we
guess.
could ask him. We got both Osse and Zelga joining us. GG's to you both. Osse, congratulations on the win.
Yo, geez, man. Good race.
And yeah, I did mean the boots and the swords. Like the boots don't even be required until I find that ice rod location.
Yeah, definitely an odd way for boots to be required.
Yeah, this was an interesting race and interesting seed. There were a lot of little minor routing decisions, and I feel like Osse out-routed me in almost every single way, and then obviously out-executed me. Like me taking the time to get the sword from Catfish was basically just for Cold Stare, and we probably had roughly equivalent fights there, so obviously getting it with the boots was going to be faster. And then obviously not dying to Mothula is typically better than dying to Mothula. There
Yeah,
are little
typically.
things that could be improved here.
Yeah, Moth to me felt like the big swing in the race where I could just take it slow.
Yeah, I think you definitely had the lead by then, but certainly that was by far the nail in the coffin with the Moth death.
Yeah, and I got to figure that Osse, did you feel like you had enough of a lead? That's why you went ahead and picked up those silver arrows. Zelga a little behind, knowing they were there, but the rare situation where you could skip that right side in TR, and did.
If I wasn't behind, obviously at that point my only chance of having a way to win this was Osse making a mistake. So I obviously I had to skip it. I couldn't take the time for it.
Makes sense.
And then obviously him making it makes his route a lot safer as well. So yeah, at that point you just kind of had to play to your own win condition, which required a mistake on Osse's side. So I don't really have any regrets about the decision there in Turtle Rock. Granted, it's probably honestly about the same with the time save versus actually doing the torches and everything, but I don't think it's that big a deal, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it was the right decision for the situation you're in. Certainly, you could defend easily defend picking them up, but it makes sense to try and cut some corners there.
Yeah, the time feels about the same. Like, the torches room's deceptively long to do though, but haven't timed it out. And the Vitreous fight looks so janky because I didn't want to accidentally make a mistake and lose the race over a Vitreous death.
Yeah, it was interesting because you each picked up a invincibility item. Osse, you picking up the blue cane. Zelda, you picking up the cape.
Yeah, I wasn't actually even originally going to get the cape. I intended to get Burna and I forgot it. So then I frantically started searching where's the cape because I was actually going to get that bottle anyway just for safety.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, it's on Sick Kid. Well, that's kind of convenient. But because of that, it totally took me out of the hey, you need to activate your flute mode.
Yeah. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a thing too. I made a lot of small mistakes and a handful of big mistakes. Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna beat somebody like Osse when that happens.
All right, but fortunately for you, it is best of 3. So anything you think you might do a little bit differently tomorrow when you play game 2?
Not really. I'll probably just do the same thing, make the same mistakes, and we can look forward to Kyong and Osse in the finals.
Well, we'll see. It's not. We haven't played yet, so. Osse, what are your thoughts going into game 2?
I'm just really worried about taking random deaths after yesterday's practice, where I died on average twice over 4 seeds.
Ooh.
like twice each. So I need to. So I'm trying to make it through these safely and swiftly.
Safe. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, that does seem to be the trade-off, is how much of the first do you give up for the swift part.
Yeah.
Although I will congratulate you two. While this was a very long seed, at least it wasn't an AGA seed, which is a rarity for the bracket stage of this tournament.
That's true. I was actually really happy about that. I don't remember for sure when the last non-AGA seed I had was, so that's actually pretty happy.
Yeah, any other thoughts on the seed or on the race before we kind of move towards wrapping things up?
Nothing from me. Just GG's Aussie again. Out-routed me and majorly out-executed me. And thank you guys for handling the comms, the tracking, the restream. It's always awesome.
Yep. GG Zelga. Thanks Tracy, Mercer, and the crew for restream.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank y'all both for running. Everybody in chat should give both our runners today a follow. Osse101, zelgadissan. Thanks to our tracker tonight as well, Oddwalls. Game 2 of this match is tomorrow at 7:15 as well, Eastern, so the exact same time as this one. It hasn't been assigned a channel yet. Just keep paying attention to the SpeedGaming and SpeedGaming 2 through 6 channels for the schedule on that match for a channel, and then for the third game, if it's necessary, as well as the finals. I've been joined tonight in commentary by Tracy M. And anything that you might want to do say before we close out, you can have the last word.
Fun. Again, also thank you to Mercer for joining me on commentary. Always a good time. And thank you to Vince Easter for setting us up on the Speed Gaming side. And of course, always a big thank you to all the Speed Gaming networks for restreaming us. They do such a great job. Always a pleasure to work for them. But yeah, that'll be it for us. And hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow.